in there. Thank you. But as I've grown, it's turned into more of a like. His grace is something I go, my God, I need that so much. But you know what? And I like you. I like you for understanding and offering me amazing grace where I really need it, day in and day out, day after. I just got to confess to you. I've got to admit it because everything is laid bare to you anyhow, like it is for all of us. It doesn't do any good to pretend it's not. Everything, every thought is laid bare. He cares about the minutiae in our hearts and minds, the spiritual soul, our bodies. He wants to know us, our personality, our nature, our character, what things we'll do for money, something that's detestable to God, because it's a competitor, it's a nemesis, it's a traitor, it's defiant. Those that love money, it's like it's a false competing God, and God is a jealous God, and He doesn't want your affections or your attention or mine or anybody else's going to a false God. That just, like I said, look through history. I mean, every single day, I watch all these crime shows, the real ones, fake ones sometimes, and it's like, oh my God, what people do for money. It's real. You see what I mean? We all need to ask ourselves that, and we need to lay ourselves bare because we're already bare to our owner that cares about us like nobody else can. They don't have the potential to care about us. They don't own us. They haven't numbered the hairs on our head, but there's one who has. It may be hard for us to believe, but it's true that you're a precious treasure. You're indispensable. He doesn't want to lose one of us. Like he compared it to a shepherd that has 100 sheep and one gets lost. The shepherd leaves the 99 up on the hill. Well, it goes looks for the lost sheep. He's not happy, not satisfied, not content till he brings the last sheep. That was how God, I mean, that's the mercy. That's the amazing grace, compassion of the Creator God. Do you not like a God like that? How I live with being so vulnerable. I mean, if you've never been a parent, I mean, and I'm speaking as a biological parent, at least with one daughter I know. The other one, neither one of us care. Well, we love it to this day. We get a big kick out of not knowing. It's the funniest thing in the world. He couldn't change our relationship at all. I couldn't imagine that. Her either. But, God, you're really vulnerable when you have kids. It's tough. But you see, I take comfort. And I like God because He's there. And He wants me to know that. That no matter what goes on, that because, I never kept anything from them, and I gave them the same opportunities I was given to have right values, not be a sellout to this world, this temporal world, that, everything is going to be all right. I can be very glad about that. It brings joy to me and comfort and encouragement because I need that. I mean, I don't know how I cope sometimes. I don't know how I contend. I don't know how anybody does sometimes. I think, God Almighty, what we're bombarded with day in and day out about vaccines and COVID and all this crap. We're going a year and a half now. God Almighty, it's amazing any of us has any semblance of happiness at this point in history. For God's sake, we're an effed up species. And we got to admit that. We got to go back to our roots, man. Understand, there was a time when God wished He didn't even create us. We got to understand the genesis of this relationship with God. Okay, whatever this forbidden fruit was, that was taboo. Whatever that's an allegory for, okay, use your own imagination. Maybe it was something of a sexual nature. Maybe it was don't have intercourse because you could possibly intermix here with this breed, but just don't do it. Did we do it? What happened? You understand? What became of that? Did those beings go off to another place because they had greater technology? Did they have UFOs way back when Adam and Eve were here? And that demon, had these kind of powers, knowledge, technology. That's all it really is. A UFO is just greater technology. It creates its own atmosphere, therefore it's got no resistance in space. Kind of the same way the Earth is spinning at over 1,000 miles an hour. Why isn't there a 1,000-mile-an-hour draft? Because God, the master scientist, the almighty creator of the universe and everything contained therein, built this thing called an atmosphere and gravity. So this pulling and pushing keeps everything in perfect order, like a fine Swiss watch, the whole universe at the hand of God. God is wild. As I was talking about God being wild, because I was thinking about this, the grizzly bears at this river in Alaska, this footage of these bears getting salmon and the mother bear feeding her cubs, and then the male bear trying to come over and sneak over and steal some fish, I think. Easy catch, right? Just stealing it from the mother bear and the cubs, he thought, inexperienced. And the mother bear just turned on him, and just, even though she was smaller, she was more ferocious and more determined to protect her cubs. And that was all it took. You understand? So sometimes what we see as recessive is it's the book by the cover thing. You don't ever know. The female of the species more powerful. Well, they could extinct our species if they chose. That's a fact. Because their mating with men is their own prerogative, their own free will choice, right? They don't have to do it. So that's it. And every man out there needs to remember they came through their mother, a female, very painfully. That's how we came. But our origins, whatever happened there, it displeased God. It hurt him so much. It wounded him in his heart. He was sorry he created, as it says in the Bible. And that's when the curse befell the earth. And all the negative things, those organic things I was alluding to earlier, starting with death. That was the one thing God warned us, that you will die on that day that you do that. Okay? And then diseases came in. So mortality came in at that point. We didn't die immediately on that day, but with a comma, you could change that statement. You understand? So you got to understand what was being said there. So maybe to this day we got these hybrid demon beings out there. There's been accounts of abductions, all kinds of weird crap. I don't know everything, friends. It's pretty freaky, weird, wild, and big. It involves other inhabited planets, all kinds of crap. I mean, they've already proven there's these Goldilocks planets where, it's ideal to live on. They say, they're too many light years away, we can never get to it, but with greater technology, maybe we could. Talk to Bob Lazar about bending space. I don't understand it, but he does. He talks about how you could traverse these vast miles, untold distance in light years in the blink of an eye. So I'm just saying, all this stuff could have existed a lot longer than the whole Adam and Eve story, which in and of itself is not the end all of the story of creation in the Bible. Because remember, when they had Cain and Abel, remember Adam and Eve, and then Cain killed his brother Abel out of jealousy, petty jealousy, and he was exiled to the land of Nod. The land of Nod was already populated. You understand? I'm just saying, that's right there. So any Bible thumper, Christians, any believers and all this stuff, got to, well, that's true. There is another. Obviously, there's a previous story of creation of man. We wonder why we got so many species, though we all came from Africa. Well, it's just different traits. I mean, God's wild. I mean, it's just, there could be endless populated planets out there in the universe, in our galaxy alone, with slightly different looking people. But when we look at how different we as human beings look, hey, it all starts making sense. Okay, I remember God's wild. The dinosaurs. He's a character. God's a character. She's a character. They're a character. And we're part of that. We're like little gods because we're children of God. The whole image and likeness thing. We've got virtually unlimited potential. I mean, as long as you can imagine something, you can attain it. You can manifest it. Look what we've done. 100 years ago, if you told somebody tried to describe the kind of technology that exists today, they'd think you were whacked out of your head. I mean, they wouldn't even listen to you because they think, God, this person's they're trying to talk way over my head. And they're just being patronizing, and I don't like it. I don't want nothing to do with this person. But there it is. And even recent technology. I mean, how old is the airplane? And somebody said, you can't do that because of this, that, and the next thing. And now we got freaking jets that go, what, Mach God knows how many. I don't know. 4 times the speed of sound or something. Pretty crazy. And that's not even using the anti-gravitational technology like these UFOs supposedly use, which basically is like a force field. So there's no resistance, then you can go as fast as you want. It's the resistance. That's the atmosphere. That's why we have to use propulsion systems. It's not why we have to, but it's why we do. All right, I want to finish because I forgot to continue with this. I was talking about before my tape ended. I was talking about those that will oppose you simply for your egalitarian viewpoint. You know, that you believe there is an answer, that is the answer to problems worldwide. And that's the only answer, man, is sharing. It's the golden rule, treating others the way we want to be treated. Of course, ultimate justice and fairness, not for some, not on a certain basis, okay, but automatically, by default position, you had a right to share in the earth's resources because that is what God's will is. It's not being religious, it's being freaking logical and reasonable. And anybody opposed to that is just being evil. Okay, they just want to have an advantage over others. They're mean people. You know, all the bullies. Okay, you know they've got to be separated from the righteous at some point. It's not fair to inflict these people on the righteous forever. Can't do that. So, you know, you're going to keep God stuck between a rock and a hard spot forever? No. At some point, he's going to fight fire with fire. I don't know how it's all going to play out, but he's going to demand it. When he puts his foot down, that's it. End of story. You know, sometimes I think life would be a hell of a lot less stressful if I could get off all internet and all TV. I really do. You know, there was a time when I really resented the internet. I did not want it. For years and years. It's no small miracle I ever got on the internet. It really isn't. To this day, though, I mean, if TV and I mean, let's go back to Pony Express. I mean, if it means longer lives, less stress, all I need to know is the news in my little community, my village, my town. That's it. Don't bother me with your problems. We got our own. That'd be nice. A lot less stress, wouldn't it be? You know, I was talking recently about how I don't understand how all these small claims court shows and other court shows get on TV. I mean, aren't these funded by taxpayers? So for them to commercialize it and profit from these shows, I mean, it's like going into a courtroom. The public's welcome, right, to go into any of these proceedings. But it's like having commercials. Well, we're taking a judicial break here to run this commercial for you. If the judges are profiting from this thing on a commercial basis, and we the people are paying them, the taxpayers are paying these people, do you understand how it's like a blatant conflict of interest? Well, I'm the only one I've ever heard even bring this up and point this out. I mean, what is wrong with us, man? Because I'm addicted, full-blown addicted to watching some of these shows. I'm getting a little better. I don't have to hang on every word because I'm starting to realize they've got to do a whole hell of a lot of condensing, editing to put these shows together. So I'm missing a lot of the give and take already. And I'm getting a little more laid back in my old age. Sometimes I think we are like wine. We just get